Welcome back to Optimize Evony. I wanted to give a quick video today. I, for those of you that watched my last video when it first dropped, this is a re-upload of that. I actually have to re-record it, unfortunately, because my mic was not working at all. But sorry about that. This is essentially going to be the same information. Today I'm going to be giving an update on the historic city searching event and basically the changes that Evony has made to that recently in terms of allowing people to get subs easier, allowing people to get sub fragments and stuff like that. This was a feature that was rumored on other servers for a long time, but it finally dropped on my server and hopefully on your server as well. But yeah, before we get into that video, I do want to just say thank you to all the people who have subscribed recently. I'm about 80% to my goal, but if you haven't yet, please do remember to hit that subscribe button. But let's get into it. So this is the subsidy event that has been around for a long time. In Evony, basically, you're able to get subsidy clues in from bosses, from tiles, from packs, mostly from packs though. If you look at the, not here, sorry. If you look at the pack, you'll be able to get the supported city clue chest, and they'll each have 100 in them. And so for the $5 pack, you get 1,000, and then it scales up from there. Uh, but yeah, so you'll get a small amount from bosses and stuff. I think I've gotten like around 3,000 this event, but not really enough to win any of the big subsidies. And the big subsidies are typically going to be your purple Japans, your gold Japans, your gold. You can see the one was already won the gold Russia, and so. Yeah, this event has been around for a long time, but they've recently made some changes to that. And the first is that you're able to get sub fragments now. So if you look at this wording here, for those of you who didn't see it before, basically for every 20% chance that you have to get a sub, you can get a fragment here. So if you have, 20% or 25%, of a chance to get this sub, you'll get one sub fragment of the same type. So in this case, an epic Russia sub. And then once you get 10 of the same subsidy fragments, you'll be able to compose it to get that subsidy. So essentially, if you if you were to have gotten, like 80% chance for two different times, then you would only need an extra I guess 40% to get a sub. That's assuming that you didn't actually win the sub. If you do actually win the sub, you don't get the key fragments. So that's just basically a way. I think basically why this happened was that there were a lot of servers where there were a lot of coiners that were competing against each other, and so they were really like driving up the price on some of these, which Evany loves, of course, but I think they were starting to get frustrated because they would keep losing the subs when they had a really high percentage. So like let's say they had, 60% or, 50% or something like that, and they kind of expected to win that sub, but they didn't. And essentially all of their coining for that was useless. And so this is kind of Evany's way of encouraging people to still spend money on the subsidy slots. So for example, if you're going for a sub, and I was I was kind of going for some of these ones there. I haven't spent, so I don't have any indication that I'm going to win a good sub, and so my plan was essentially to go for subs where I thought I could get up to 20%. And you can see that these ones have have increased quite a lot the number of bids, and so I'm no longer over 20%. But I was essentially trying to get at least one fragment on a sub here, so that it wasn't a complete waste if I don't win any of the subs. Hopefully I'll win the subs now, though. I mean that's the ideal case. But yeah, so my strategy is essentially going to be to look for the subs that I want that have low bids, and then probably just wait until right before the subs are announced, and then dump them to make sure that I don't get in this case again where I dump a bunch of subs or sub clues and then don't actually get the fragment or don't get the sub. So it still is it's going to make it a lot better to have kind of the purple Japans and gold Japans and gold uh, gold Russian subs and all of the good subs there. And it's always better, in my opinion, to have more good subs on your server. Uh, Even if it's not you that owns them, if it's your alliance mate that wins them, maybe sometimes you can do a trade with them based on what they're looking for and what you're looking for. I recently was able to do a trade where I got a Japan for a Russian because the player that I was trading with was essentially more interested in doing the defense, and I'm a bigger player, and so I'm doing mostly attacking, and so it worked out great for us. And it's one of those nice things where if you do have more good subs around, maybe someone else gets a better sub and they're trying to get rid of their older sub, and you can get it for cheap or whatnot. So I always think it's a good thing. And then even if it's an enemy alliance, if you're a bubble or burn server, you can zero them if they drop bubble and take it, or just I guess just hopefully recruit them to your alliance and stuff like that, so it can be a benefit to you. But I'd never think that having more good subs on your server is going to be a bad thing. There's you want all the buffs that you can get, one way or the other. So that's kind of the first thing, the fragment element of that. But then if you look up here, they also added a ranking for how many sub clues people have bet. So you can see that a number of people have bet a lot of sub clues, and then you get different rewards for these. So let's look at the first place rewards, and this is really the main thing that you're looking for. This gives you a random epic subcity key. So this, gives you a chance to get any of the different subcities. Yeah, obviously, you're probably hoping that you get a Japan or a Russia or something like that. But you'll probably end up getting an Arabia or it is random. So it's not guaranteeing that you get a good thing, but if you've already spent, that's a good way to kind of get an additional thing kind of for free. And again, in my opinion, it's better to have more good subs on your server, regardless. So it's kind of cool. You can also here you can hide your information here if you don't want to actually go and show people that you spent a bunch of money, or I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I think regardless, I don't know who this player was. I don't know if they're in my alliance or a different alliance on the server. But regardless, I think when they open their sub, we're still going to be able to see their name. So, because you can look and see which people won the epic subs here, and you'll be able to see, oh, okay, this person that's going to win this one, that's not going to be me. I have a 0% chance. And then this person, okay, it's not either of those two people. This must be the person who won. So, I mean, but it doesn't really matter. Uh, yeah, and I think they're kind of flooding the market with subs with this, which is, I mean, a good thing for most free-to-play players because it gives you a chance to get some of these better subs. And I think they've kind of, in my opinion, they've kind of moved the ideal subs to the historic subs. They've kind of the historic subs now are basically what epic subs were before, especially before they released the historic city searching event and stuff like that, where there was like 4 gold subs on a server, and The only way to get more was to merge servers and things like that. It was crazy cutthroat to get good subs. And if you didn't get them initially when the server launched, there was no chance to get them. I joined my server a bit late, and so I didn't get any of the good subs. And I didn't really understand the game yet, so there was a reason why. But it, it used to be super hard to get these gold subs. Now it's gotten a lot easier. It's still not like super easy, but it's gotten a lot easier. And so now they've kind of moved the goalpost to these historic subs that have really good buffs. And those are really great. Those are really awesome if you have a really big coiner. If you're a free-to-play player and you have a really big coiner in your alliance and they have all these subs, you typically will get some alliance buffs for those. And so definitely awesome for you to good for you. Unfortunately, my alliance or my server really doesn't have anyone who's spending to that level. It's a little absurd how much you have to spend to get those epic subsidies. But for those that do, congrats. Nothing against that. Uh, I just wish that it wasn't quite as difficult to get. But I understand it is a money making scheme. So. What do you guys think of this? What do you think of them kind of adding these sub fragments? Do you like it? Do you think that it's cheapening the subs too much? Probably depends on whether you already have really good subs or if you are trying to get new good subs. But I kind of like it. Like I said, there's no real downside to having more good subs on your server. It gives you a chance to get more good subs regardless. So. But yeah, I think that's all that I really had for you guys today. Thanks for watching, as always, and please remember to like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, and I'll see you in the next video.